In October of 2012, a cable news network in the United States broke a rather troubling story about a Republican senator from Georgia named Paul Bruen. He was speaking at the Liberty Baptist Church in Hartwell. Senator Bruen is videotaped as saying that evolution, embryology, and the Big Bang Theory are lies straight from the pit of hell meant to convince people they don't need a savior. Senator Bruen also claimed to believe that the earth and the universe are not older than 10,000 years. Now, this is a Republican senator from the U.S. who's now running unopposed in October of 2012. This elected official claims that evolution is a lie, as he says, straight from the pit of hell. And yet 3 months prior to that, a Dr. Bruce Waltke, a conservative Old Testament scholar in Florida, finally came out and admitted that the evidence for evolution was overwhelming. And he said that evangelical Christians should begin to deal with the facts. What happened to Dr. Waltke? In October of 2012, Dr. Waltke was forced to resign from his teaching position at the Reformed Theological Seminary in Florida. Why? Because he had been seen by some other faculty members in a videotape on another website, and his sin, his big sin, was that he was caught lecturing about creation and evolution. Now, Waltke not only endorsed evolution, but he said that evangelical Christianity could be facing a crisis if it did not come to accept science, and specifically evolution as a viable explanation for the existence of humanity. Why did he get fired? Simply for speaking the truth. Dr. Waltke, a man in his late 70s, had the courage to change when confronted with the evidence. I say kudos to him. But the real question is, why did it take him 40 years teaching the Bible and at university level to finally come to an understanding of evolution? And why is it important for fundamentalists today to come to this understanding? It is a surprising fact that according to a 2012 Gallup poll, 46% of Americans still do not accept the fact of evolution. Most of them believe that the earth and the universe were created only about 10,000 years ago. Look at the chart now on your screen. Look how far down the list the United States is compared to the rest of the world in accepting the very fact of evolution. It is second near the bottom, just below Turkey. What do you honestly think this will be the fact on science and technology when most of the society rejects a basic fact as evolution? Remember, it's the scientific concept that ties together all the disciplines in science. Now, I'm sure some of my fundamentalist friends are thinking right about now, so what? Big deal. Why is this even important for me to understand? Who cares about how God did it? If he used creation, great. If he used evolution, well, maybe that's okay. So what do you have to say about that, Pastor Sampson? Why is this such a big deal? It's been said that God offers to every human being a choice between truth and repose. Take that which you please, you can never have both. Between these two choices, between truth and repose, a man or a woman oscillates like a pendulum. Now, the person who loves repose is going to accept the first creed, the first philosophy, or the first political party that they're going to come across. That person may get a rest, and if she or he moves up the ranks, they may even get a reputation. But what they have actually done is shut the door to truth. And that, my friends, is the true Faustian bargain with the devil. What about you? Have you chosen truth or repose? Well, Pastor Sampson, I have truth in my life. You can't tell me that I don't have truth in my life. Well, maybe you do. But it reminds me of the old story of the devil and his friend who were out for a walk one day. There's another man walking several hundred yards ahead of them on the same road. The friend sees the man ahead of them stoop down and pick something up off the road. He turns to ask the devil, what was it that that man picked up on the road? The devil answers, a piece of truth. His friend says, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That just can't be good for you. Quite the contrary, said the devil. I'm going to let him organize it. Do you see the problem here? Many denominations have pieces of the truth, but they do not have the holistic picture. Why not? It's the same question we should really ask as to why it took Dr. Bruce Waltke 40 years to understand that evolution is a fact. Did you know that Dr. Waltke was also on the translation committee of the New International Version of the Bible? And yet, he didn't know or accept evolution. The answer to this dilemma can be found in a painting by the great middle-aged painter Botticelli. In 1482, he did this painting called Primavera. The painting celebrates the arrival of spring and is filled with mythological symbols. Venus, the goddess of love, is the center of the orange grove. To the right of her is Flora, the goddess of flowers and spring. Notice that she's dressed in garlands and flowers. To her right is the nymph Chloris, and to her right is Zephyrus, the god of the wind, who, as you can see, has quite a burning passion for Chloris, the nymph god. Now, the famous Roman poet Ovid tells us this, that Chloris transforms into Flora, the goddess of spring. Now look to the left of Venus, and you see three women dancing. They're called the Three Graces. Now they're friends of Venus, the lady pictured in the middle of the painting, and they are in the process of doing the dance of spring. Look at the top of the painting. There's a blind Cupid shooting his love arrows in the springtime. And as we all know, love is blind. Now we come to my point. Notice to the left of these graces is Hermes, the messenger of the gods. Now in Roman mythology, Hermes is known as Mercury. He's portrayed with a helmet and with two wings. Notice in the close-up that Hermes' right hand is raised, and he has the scepter of the gods in his right hand, which was his right-of-way through any region of the earth to speak the truth of the gods without anyone forbidding him. He's using it in this painting to actually knock down oranges from the tree in this painting. Hermes is where we get the theological term called hermeneutics. Now, hermeneutics has to do with how we interpret sacred text. The other important subset of hermeneutics is called exegesis. So we have hermeneutics and exegesis. Do you know the difference between the two? If you have to run to a dictionary right now, if you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jew, and you have to run to a dictionary to find out the difference between hermeneutics and exegesis, then you need to subscribe to this Truth is God program. I'll be covering this in some detail in future broadcasts. But now I wish to give you a general outline. Let me tell you why the United States has 46% of people who do not believe or accept the fact of evolution. Most fundamentalist pastors have never had training in hermeneutics. They often mix the two terms up together, exegesis and hermeneutics, without really understanding the two. They're often misunderstood. Prove that to me, Pastor Sampson. I'm not sure that I believe you. I will. Just give me a moment, and you will hear the truth come right out of the horse's mouth as Dr. Bruce Waltke makes a startling admission. Now go on to part 2 and listen to what Dr. Bruce Waltke has to say.